So, Jack, how are you?
I'm very well, and I think you know why. Absolutely fantastic. Thank
I'm
you.
really happy for you.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, what a game. What a weekend. History. Brilliant.
Yeah. So 70 years that you haven't won a domestic trophy.
No more.
And 56 years was it was the last time that you won a trophy.
Yeah, anything decent, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's all gone. That's all history
Yeah.
now.
Actually, the most amazing stat was that the fact that Newcastle reached 9 finals and they lost all 9 until yesterday.
And I think they only scored. No, I don't even think they scored in it hardly any of those games as well. There was just a few goals as well. They haven't scored at Wembley in any before yesterday in any game for something like 20 years, 21 years since the semi-final.
So I guess the statue of Eddie Howe is already.
I think they're already sort of chiseling away at it, designing it now. They should do anyway. Absolute legend. Now he's gone down in history, hasn't he? Fantastic. I'm so pleased for him.
Do you think this will be something, a beginning of something?
I hope so. I hope so, because I was thinking back to these moments when clubs win their first trophy in a long time. Chelsea, obviously, they didn't have to wait as long to win the League Cup, but it was their first trophy under Mourinho when he came in, and they had all the money, Abramovich funds, and after that kick-started everything for Chelsea, the revolution. I know Newcastle can't spend like Chelsea did. It's a different era now, but the difference is these players are now cup winners. They know what it takes to win a trophy. They've got through a game. They've got the medal and they've got it in their cabinet. And now they will want more. These top players won't need to think, Newcastle are a stepping stone to another club. Let's give it another season or two and see if we can build and maybe win another trophy, or defend the title, or defend the trophy and maybe go far in Europe. Because that's got to be the aim now.
Yeah. I agree with you in the sense that money helps, definitely. But I think it's the organizational side of a club. And we have seen it with other clubs like Man United and Chelsea this year. Okay, now they're trying to get the pieces together. But, they spend so much money. If it was a competition, they would have won the Premier League by January. Money wise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
No.
So Newcastle need to keep the momentum. You have the passionate fans. There are plans to increase the capacity of the stadium,
or might be building a new one potentially. Yeah.
Okay,
it's up in the air, that one, but that's another exciting thing in the future as well, and that will help the revenues, help the growth as well. And attract more players.
Because from I don't know. I was watching from a very young age English football, and one thing that really stand out for me is how passionate the fans are in home matches. That makes so much more difficult for the away team to get a result up in Newcastle. So it's something to build on after they get sober.
After they, I think you're saying off camera, nobody in Newcastle's working today. They all took the day off, probably, or called in sick. Just from partying. But no, it's great to see a different team win the League Cup. I think we're all bored of the same old teams: Liverpool, Man United, Man City winning it every other year, sharing it around the last 20 years. And it's great to see a different club win it, and that's brilliant. But also, you say about the home atmosphere in Newcastle and St James's Park, what a fantastic stadium that is for atmosphere when the crowd are behind, and those Champions League nights were brilliant. But the thing was, they turned Wembley into a home stadium, didn't they? They had half the ground, but it felt like they had the whole ground. They were making so much noise. They were waving the scarves. It was fantastic.
The atmosphere was unbelievable. No question about it. But it is because of the economic recession up north. We have these issues with Sunderland, and it's the whole area. It needs a boost. So this is something that maybe would take Newcastle to the next step.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because it's been a couple of years that you feel that something is changing, even though nobody expected to have this quick turnaround in the shareholders, and then Ashworth to go to United.
Yeah.
And things like that, but it's something to build on.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing happens, if nothing else develops, and this is just a one-off, it's still fantastic anyway. I mean, I don't think the Newcastle fans will mind. They don't want another 70-year wait, but I mean, it's fantastic if they don't go on and win the FA Cup and the Premier League in the next few years. Whatever. I mean, it'd be great. It's fantastic. It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Of course,
Yeah.
but it's still brilliant winning the League Cup, especially who they played. On the way to the final, they played all of the top four. So they played Forest, they played Arsenal in the semi-final. They played, who else did they play? I think they played Man City or Chelsea or something along the way. So they beat these decent teams on the way,
Yeah.
and then obviously Liverpool in the final, who are going to be the Premier League champions. They're one of the best teams, if not the best team in Europe at the moment this season.
Yeah.
And they absolutely they deserved it as well. It wasn't just because Liverpool played below par and they were a bit sluggish and they didn't seem to have any impetus. They didn't seem to have any energy. I don't know what was going on, but Newcastle really took the game to them from the beginning.
I think
Fantastic.
it took a lot out of them, the fact that they were knocked out of the Champions League. The way they were knocked out, Liverpool, but at the same time, you cannot devalue the importance. And I watched the match, and it was like Newcastle wanted it more. They did.
Everybody associated with the club, the team, the players, the coaches. It seemed
the first whistle, you felt that it was, but at the same time, because of the threat up front, that the Liverpool have with the players that they have, you always at the back of your mind says, okay, when it was 1-0, you expected that something was going to happen and Liverpool to turn it around, and then it was 2-0. And then it says, okay, and I was just sitting on my couch. I said, that's it. That's a wrap.
It's never it with Newcastle, never.
But and then we had this, goal with Chiesa, 2-1. It was offside, not offside, and they took quite a lot of time to decide, actually.
Too long. It was just ridiculous. And then that added on to the extra time.
Yeah.
The added time, it was just so much of it, nearly 10 minutes in the end.
Yeah.
It was just unbearable, those last 5 or 6 minutes after that Chiesa goal. And, it should have just been easy, 2-0, at that point, plain sailing. But no, there's always has to be a twist. And it never comes easy. It's, that's 70-year wait, but I don't think that felt as long as those 5 minutes did in the added time. That was the longest period ever. For all Newcastle fans.
And it was a solid performance by the keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big call that they had to make, that Eddie Howe made, bringing him in and keeping him from the league team from last week, but not playing Dubravka, who's been one of the main reasons Newcastle got to the final in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. But he has the physicality, he has the presence, so he does. He was really confident.
When he had to make a save, which wasn't very often because he didn't get tested a couple of times, he did it. He couldn't stop that Chiesa one. I mean, that was a tricky one. But the couple of shots the Szoboszlai one, and and he was out and imposing, and he came out and punched it, didn't he? And he seemed quite commanding actually, so that's good. And he had a quite long-term injury, so it's good to see him back. And he missed the final last time Newcastle were in it against Man United because he got sent off just before it in the league game against Liverpool actually as well. No. So good to see him and good to see him win. And I'm so pleased because the individual performances were fantastic. Dan Burn, local lad, brilliant. Joe Linton was. Oh, he was fantastic in the centre of the park, and so was Guimaraes. And it was the two centre midfielders, I thought, and Tonali, to be honest, all three of those central line midfielders, they were just so imposing, and they were like the engine room of the whole performance.
Tonali, he's just every match he's putting, shifting, and he's so quiet in what he's doing, but he's really effective.
He is. He doesn't give the ball away hardly ever.
No. If you just watch him, when you watch Newcastle matches and you just follow what he's doing, he's doing an unbelievable job.
Yeah, so fantastic, brilliant, and yeah, hopefully
all the
to come.
players gave their 110% because you could see it in the end. They were so tired. Everybody was so tired. Isaac and they were. But they were.
They were like panting, weren't they? They were just on their last legs. One last thing on the final before we talk about the Premier League matches is Salah. How quiet Salah was, and that was a surprise. But having looked at the stats, which has gone viral at the moment, everyone online is talking about his goal contributions and his assists in finals is really poor. He's only in eight cup finals for Liverpool across all the different ones. He's only scored one goal, and that was from the penalty spot in the Champions League final against Tottenham when they won it. So he's not been effective. And like famously, Didier Drogba always scored in a final for Chelsea, pretty much. He doesn't, Salah, he doesn't score in finals. And for Ipswich too. Not Ipswich,
you're trying to say
too.
You're trying to say that he hasn't got the character for these
no, he has the character, but he just doesn't seem to
matches.
Yeah, maybe he just crumbles in the final. No, he's obviously a brilliant player, unbelievable, one of the best of this Premier League, of this generation, but he doesn't seem to have that record in the final, which is a strange one. It's just one of those strange stats.
Yeah, he was quiet. You're absolutely right. I thought he was really quiet.
Thank goodness, because he's the key man. Keep him quiet. You keep Liverpool quiet mostly.
So going back to about the Premier League. So for Liverpool, it's just 9 finals because they don't have any other targets now.
Yeah, they're out of those 2 trophies in a week, so that's a bad week. But they have to regroup and go again after the international break.
Which is good for them that we have the international break, in my opinion.
I mean, luckily for them, they're so far ahead. They could lose a few games and still coast to the title.
Yeah, no, because Arsenal just gave it to Liverpool.
Yeah, well, they did their bit at the weekend, obviously beat Chelsea, but there was the points drop before that, the last 5 games. It just can't do it.
Throughout the season, we were talking about Arsenal's consistency.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable. They lost some points that you expected them to win.
Yeah.
And then when Liverpool started dropping some points, you were expecting that Arsenal were going to have a momentum. They were just taking some steps back.
Yeah, they were. They were going back. Yeah.
So it was anyway. And even though I predicted that it was probably going to be their season, Arsenal is not.
No, surprisingly, they've dropped off, haven't they? Well, maybe, I don't know, surprisingly or not, I don't know. But I suppose it would have been surprising at the start of the season, but the fact they've not got a striker, and it's so obvious that they've not got a striker, that's the difference, isn't it? You need somebody to put that ball in the net. And they got Marino, who's sort of a makeshift striker, and he did score at the weekend, but you can't rely on someone like that who's basically a deep-lying centre midfielder. Put him up front and expect him to be the man who's going to get you chasing towards the title with Liverpool.
So they won against Chelsea 1-0. The London derby. We had another London derby.
Tottenham. It's good for Newcastle, that was.
Yeah, 2-0. Really okay.
Fulham Spurs, yeah.
So Fulham, they are strong at home.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, he's done a good job there. The manager, Silva, really good.
He is a good coach.
Yeah, he is.
Silva, and easy away win. Leicester, Man United, 0-3.
Yeah, they're not very good at Leicester, are they?
No. They look like a championship team.
Yeah, and that was a good game for Man United to play, wasn't it? It was perfect timing to get the confidence. Højlund finally scored 21 games.
Højlund and
Garnacho. So it's maybe, and obviously Fernandes, who scores every week. He's the only one who scores, but good for Man United.
It's 16 goals this season, Bruno, and 15 assists.
Very good numbers.
Unbelievable, considering that Man United were not creating a lot of chances.
Yeah,
so he looks. Maybe the next step is for him to assist himself and score.
That's it.
No, actually, Højlund, he took it really well.
It was his weaker foot as well.
Yeah, and it was not an easy goal.
Yeah.
So that was a confidence boost both for Garnacho and Højlund. A big miss was Haven's injury.
Yeah.
He looks a really good prospect because I watched him last week against Arsenal and he was really good. Very confident, left-footed center half, strong, tall, really, really good
Yeah.
for the
Good
future.
prospect.
Yeah. And Saturday we had Everton, West Ham 1-1.
Yeah.
Ipswich 2, Forest 4. Ipswich, it looks like they're going down.
Ipswich look like they go down, and Forest, they look definite. They look almost certs for the top four now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man
fantastic for
City, Brighton 2-2.
them. Yeah, Haaland broke that record, didn't he, for goal involvements? There's all these new
Yeah.
records that they talk about, and he's got 100 goal involvements in 84 matches.
But at the same time, it's not guaranteed that Man City will qualify for the Champions League.
No. Newcastle just behind them as well with the game in hand.
They cannot find consistency. They keep dropping points. I expected that they were going to win.
Yeah, because I was following that scoreline, and when I saw they went in front, I thought, well, okay, they're going to seal it now.
Yeah.
But no, they can't quite get over that line, can they, for wins?
And when the other teams now feel that they have the chance to score, because the good old Man City, it was really hard to find the scoring opportunity to score against them. But now it looks like they have issues in the defensive
They
side.
definitely do.
So
that Kusanov guy, he scored an own goal, and he's had a few glaring errors since he's joined. I think he just needs to have a pre-season under him and get his confidence back, because he just looks like he's going to cry all the time when you see him play. He just looks nervous. Maybe he hasn't got that mentality just yet. Maybe he's a bit out of his depth. I don't know, but he just looks. It's obviously a talented player, but I think Pep needs to get him in 1-to-1, and they need to sort him out over pre-season.
Definitely. An important away win for Wolves.
Very big, massive win for Wolves.
Yes.
Southampton. They're like Leicester. They're even worse than Leicester, aren't they? They're terrible. But a great win for Wolves. That pretty much, I don't know, it's not guaranteed.
They are long gone.
Southampton long gone. Only got 9 points. They could be on for the record low ever, couldn't they? They're still on to beat the Derby record.
Definitely.
But Wolves 9 points clear now of the relegation zone. 9 points.
Yeah.
So that's really big, isn't it, at this point?
And Bournemouth, Brentford, away win for Brentford.
Brentford 5 away wins in a row in the Premier League. First time ever they've done that in any competition ever.
Okay. So I think for the relegation zone, we can say that Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich, most likely they will go down.
Yeah, I think so. And when you add up all the points from those three teams, you got the 9 points, Southampton, and then Leicester and Ipswich have both got 17 points. You add all those 3 point scores together, they don't even get in the top half of the table. They don't even get into 10th, which just shows you how far away those teams are from even the mid-table teams. It's really, and they all came up, didn't they, last season from the Championship? It's not a good look for the Premier League. You want a team to come up and give it a good go. And Ipswich looked like they were going to do that, actually. And they
especially at home, they looked like they were going to be a strong proposition for the away teams. But no, we always know that the first year when you come up from the Championship is the hardest one. So you need to find a way to survive. But these three teams, they look like they will be going to playing in the Championship.
And it makes the league less interesting, doesn't it? Because there's no talking points at the bottom. There's no relegation, final day dramas or anything. It's just, it looks just obvious now. It's almost like you could just stop the season at the bottom now and just say, look, that they can just go to the Championship. They're done,
At the same time, one big club, Leeds, might be coming up.
Yeah.
So that's
flying high, aren't they? Leeds, Burnley, but again, teams that have been in the Premier League recently: Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Sunderland. I'm a Newcastle fan, but I'd love to see Sunderland back in the league in the Premier League, because you get the derby hostilities again, and they're always 2 good games. Although not had a good recent record against Sunderland in the league, Newcastle, but it'd be great to have them back, and it's good for the area. Good to have some more North.
This is what I said before.
That's what you were saying earlier. And Middlesbrough, another big club up there, not been in the Premier League for a while.
So
I think, look, the closest thing, the best thing to keep your eye on now is not the relegation zone. It's not the title. It's that top 4/5. They're so close. There's 10 points between Forest in 3rd and the team who are in 10th. Can't remember exactly who it is, Brentford or something. The team who are in 10th, and it's that's so close. That's so close. There's teams with games in hand. Newcastle as well got a game in hand, and a lot of the teams play each other between now and the end of the season.
So
You could see a lot of shifting around.
basically, they will fight for the fourth spot.
Yeah,
it looks like
fourth stroke fifth. If we can get that fifth Champions League spot, that makes it even more interesting.
Yeah.
So let's see. But I saw something that was published yesterday, and it was about the potential for there to be 10 teams in Europe in the Premier League, and the 11th place team could go into the Europa Conference League, UEFA Conference League. So I thought that was unusual because if Newcastle win this, and then if Arsenal win the Champions League and they finish in that position, if Forest, they secure it, and then you go all the way down, and Spurs win the Europa League, it works out as you could have and they say they finish 8th, Spurs, which they probably won't, but there was this sort of supercomputer that worked it all out, and there was a potential scenario that the Premier League were looking at that 11th place team could get into Europe. That would be crazy, but I don't think it is possible, but I don't think Spurs are going to go up from where they are in the league.
Yeah, but definitely the big clubs they wouldn't want to play in the Conference League.
No, I mean Newcastle have they've got the playoff place now for the Conference League thanks to winning the cup. Yeah. But I don't really want the Conference League. It's just the squad's not big enough to deal with something like that, and you might as well be in the Europa or the Champions League.
On the other hand, Chelsea might win it.
Yeah, and they get, what do they get? Europa League from that if they win it. So I don't think they even want that, do they? They're all about the Champions League. They got to be someone like Chelsea. So
with the investment they made this year, the last couple of years, they would definitely want to play in the.
They have to
League.
Probably for the finances.
And also United, the only way to qualify for Europe is to win the Europa League, which is really hard.
At least they're through to the next round in that sense, then, because they're still in the competition.
Lyon is going to be a different proposition from Real Sociedad. It will be a stronger team.
Yeah.
So actually, Lyon, we used to see them in the Champions League, not in the Europa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, we are now in the business end of the season, definitely. And it would be very interesting, especially for this Champions League qualification.
Yeah, really close for that.
Yeah. But on the other hand, Newcastle winning the League Cup, it would be really. I would be really pleased if a team like Nottingham Forest qualify for the Champions League after so many years.
Yeah, with their history and winning the European Cup twice. Yeah. Me too. I mean, I think most neutral fans or most non-Forest fans would love to see that happen. Yeah. That would be great. That would be brilliant. And what an atmosphere would be there. It'd just be great to see someone different for a change in there.
Yeah. And only last year they managed to survive after coming up from the championship.
Story. Yeah,
because last year it was really close till the end that they might go back down. So and they spent last year they spent 200 million in transfers. So they made a lot of investment, Marinakis, and it looks like this year, and definitely with the Espirito Santo, they just they took it to another notch. And then it's a confidence thing, Jack. If you keep winning, it's a confidence boost for everybody.
It is, and also like Newcastle winning the League Cup, which is good to see another team win. It's great to see other teams in the Champions League, because the last 3 years we've had from England, we've had Newcastle, Aston Villa, and potentially Forest. That's 3 completely different clubs that are not used to playing it for many years. All of them, they've all got pedigree, but they haven't played in the Champions League for a long time. And that's great to see. We just want to see different teams there represent the Premier League, and the fans, it really means a lot. The atmosphere at Villa Park when they've been playing those Champions League games has been fantastic, and they're still in the competition, of course. It's just great to see, and we don't want to see the usual suspects all the time in these competitions.
So. And even though I don't like Marinakis personally, he looks like he brought something new and fresh into the city and the club.
Yeah,
and
give it a lift.
Yeah. So because he's managing,
he's a character, isn't he?
He's managing 3 clubs now.
Yeah.
Piagos, the one in Spain, and. I don't know how he manages it. And also his shipping company, I don't know how he can manage all this. But
Crazy guy. I don't think he sleeps much, does he? I don't think he mustn't do.
no, but you look at him every time. He's at home matches, even away
He's
matches.
there. He seems to be at every game.
He's down by the by the tunnel, greeting the players.
I don't think does he go to the Olympiacos games anymore? I think he just goes to Forest at the moment.
No, he does, because this year it looks like they're going to win the championship.
So it's a very happy Marinakis house at the moment, because
Definitely.
they're doing very well across the board.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't know about the Spanish team, but yeah.
And apparently he wants to buy other clubs as well. So I don't know what he's going to do.
Imagine if he bought a Cypriot club. That would be interesting.
Well, at one stage they were, because he was a frequent visitor of Cyprus.
Yeah.
Some people say, "What is he doing in Cyprus?"
Yeah.
And there was some journalists, they were asking whether he was interested to buy stakes in any of the clubs here. And
maybe one day, who knows?
Definitely, who knows?
He brings a lot of success at the moment where he goes. So
yeah, a lot of success, but there is a lot of things that coming with it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Which we can't go into.
He's a big character.
Oh, for sure, definitely. But yeah, let's hopefully Forest get in it. I think that they're quite clear. I think they're 7 points clear of Newcastle. I mean, which is incredible, really, because considering that Newcastle are right in that mix. And they're only 4 points behind Arsenal, who are second. You know, Arsenal, you don't know, do you? Imagine if Arsenal fall away a little bit more and then Forest finish second. I mean, that would be incredible. But I just think they'll take 4 for fifth, you know.
So we'll come back after the international break, and we'll see what is going to happen. Okay, we haven't discussed about the developments and the project, Man United project.
We've got plenty of time for that, I think.
Yes, and we'll see what is going to be decided by the government, basically, because it was announced this 8.5 billion project, but and they in the press conference. And Sepco and the others, they look like they have and Sanjeev, from what they were saying, they look like they had the backing of the government, and then the government said we haven't made any decision yet.
Yeah, so they sort of preempted it there. So we'll wait and see what they say on that one. But yeah, considering Sajim said the day before, and he did loads of interviews saying we don't have any money, and then the next day we're launching this multi-billion pound project. Yeah,
but only 2 billion are going to be invested by Man United.
Yeah.
Or the new investors. Who knows how it's going to be done? Maybe it's a new company with new investors in the stadium. Maybe some people say that they will bring in investors, that they will have they will get their return back from the gate receipts.
Yeah.
Okay.
100,000 seats. That's a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And not only that,
hospitality.
From the whole complex, and it's a huge complex.
Oh yeah.
And but this is, I don't know, maybe people asking that people saying that this is going to be done in 2032. Who knows?
Yeah, I think the biggest question is, will they build a staff canteen at the new stadium?
No, don't start now. Don't start now.
I won't start now. We'll discuss that another time.
So I'll see you in 2 weeks' time when we come back from the international break, and we'll have lots more to discuss.
Thank you, Nicos.